Hi, y'all. So let's talk about anime in the 80s and 90s. I did not watch much anime in the 80s and 90s. From 80 to 89, I was in college and graduate school. While I still attended a few cons in college, grad school did not leave much free time. I did make it to WindyCon with my boyfriend once because we were in Chicago, and then that's where WindyCon is. But that was the only thing. The only anime I remember watching in the 80s was Macross.
Return to base and prepare for combat. Repeat, prepare for combat. This is not a drill. Unidentified extraterrestrial fleets have launched an attack against the Earth. Their target is an alien battleship that crashed to Earth 10 years ago and has now been restored to combat readiness by the UN Spacey. All transforming Valkyrie squadrons are returned to duty. You will report to the Superdimensional Fortress Macross. Captain Bruno J. Global commanding. Prepare for sorties against giant aliens and to protect over 50,000 civilian survivors housed within Macross. Their lives and the future of mankind will depend on your strength, courage, and skill. Good luck, gentlemen, and Godspeed. The fate of the Earth is in your hands.
I liked the ships, the story, the animation, but I did not watch it faithfully, so I must have seen it at a con. I do remember seeing it when it became Robotech and being terribly dismayed. It had changed to something so bad I would not watch it. I do know that this was the era of the rise of anime movies, but I never watched them. I did not see Cowboy Bebop or Ghost in the Shell or any of those. Whether it was lack of opportunity or that I just didn't want to sit through it, I don't know. I still prefer TV series because my attention span is limited and has gotten more limited as I've gotten older. There was one thing that happened in grad school, and I kind of want to tell you about this. So I was briefly dating this guy, Lars, who was a film major. He was surprised to find I enjoyed anime and asked if I wanted to go and watch some with a friend. So I said yes, and he took me to this guy's house. The friend, whose name I forgot long ago, even if I remembered it like the next day, was in his 20s and a bachelor, and he owned his own house. And I thought that was just peculiar and weird and cool. And he had lots and lots of Godzilla merchandise. It was just all over. I got a tour of that, and he also had some anime stuff. And we did that before we sat down to watch some movie whose name I don't remember. In fact, I don't remember much of it except for this one scene, and probably don't remember it correctly. But there was this woman in a spacesuit and stripping in zero-G. She got completely naked. Talk about awkward. Lars looked at me and commented that it wasn't a kid's cartoon, and I had to agree. I had never known they made it for adults before then. Looking back, I should have been far more uncomfortable than I was. I was one woman in a strange man's house with him and a guy I'd only known a couple of weeks. But they were perfect gentlemen, so all was well. So in the 80s, was more about art history than anime, because that's what I was studying that's what I was studying in graduate school and college. I got married in 89, moved to El Paso, and my son was born in 93. No anime until he started watching it. Then we both watched Pokemon.
For trouble!
Make it double!
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse!
James!
Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light!
Surrender now or prepare to fight.
Meow, that's right!
I like Team Rocket. I don't know why, I think they were probably the most interesting thing on the show. Ash was kind of boring. Meowth was annoying. And my favorite Pokemon was Psyduck. I think I related to him because I always had headaches back then, and he was cute.
far-fetched, no!
That's it! Sonic Absolute Migraine Attack! Disable! You did it, Psyduck!
Psyduck!
My son moved on to Dragon Ball Z, but it didn't interest me that much. It did put, "It's over 9,000!" into my head forever, though. So what was I watching in the 90s? I was a hardcore Highlander fan. I was seriously in love with Adrian Paul.
I was born 400 years ago in the Highlands of Scotland. I am immortal, and I am not alone. Now is the time of the gathering, when the stroke of a sword will release the power of the quickening. In the end, there can be only one. Here we are!
I have always been interested in history and historical fiction, and the Highlander flashbacks did that well. Lots of different time periods, lots of action, and lots of Adrian Paul. Later on, it was also lots of Peter Wingfield as Mythos. I love the fact that the oldest immortal was the nerdiest, most bookish-looking guy ever. My favorite episode is the one where we finally see a Mythos flashback to the Bronze Age. Turns out, he was one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Surprise! This is also where we get this dichotomy between Duncan the do-gooder Boy Scout and Mythos, who does whatever he needs to do to survive regardless of morals. He just doesn't worry about them. That became a huge part of the storyline and one of the reasons I enjoyed the show so much. The other show I was totally obsessed with was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now this was after Highlander. And that's because, well, it went into the next century, so it was late 90s. And I didn't actually watch the show at the beginning because all the characters were so young. I wasn't interested in watching teenagers. Blech. Not that I have anything against teenagers, I just wasn't relating to them. Later on, I gave it another chance, and they were older, and I liked it for its snarky humor and badass female characters. I got over how young they were and watched it from the beginning several times. My favorite episodes are Hush, the silent episode with the ghoulish gentlemen who are gliding along the streets of Sunnydale and with their minions going like this, and they're stealing hearts out of people with surgical precision, of course. And the other one I liked was Once More with Feeling. How can you not like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the musical? It was just so well done, and the music was actually pretty good. It just fit the show so perfectly. Well, that's all I kind of want to talk about today. I know that I don't spend a lot of time on any one thing, and I barely even mention others without any explanation. I just either assume that you kind of know what it is, or that you'll ask me, or you'll ask somebody, or you'll Google. But here's the thing, if I touch on anything you would like to know more about, or like me to talk more about, drop a note in the comments. I'd like to know what interests you guys. I already know what interests me, and that's what I'm going to talk about. But if there's something that is interesting to me and that you want to know more about and that we can have a discussion about, great, let's do it. Let's talk about it. This video, this series is not just about me, it's about my interests, our interests. So, there you go. Like and subscribe so we can keep doing this. Later.